Brilliant by the New York Knicks. Very, very funny. So they were asking their fans about ticket renewals. And they put Kevin Durant, who is rumored to be interested in the Knicks, in that photo. By the way, I couldn't tell you who that Nick is, but I know it's Kevin Durant. This is not tampering. It is not tampering. It's brilliant. It's funny, and they should have never taken it down, though they were pressured. The NBA gasses up their stars, and then they just don't like it when their stars have mobility. This is not tampering. In fact, I'd argue it's pampering. The Knicks are pampering their season tickets, selling them a dream and hope and optimism. That's pampering, not tampering. By the way, LeBron with Giannis, they were on a TV show. Charles Barkley included Shaq. And so they were drafting. They've decided to televise this. It's very, very smart, very funny. I love it. So they televise now star players, Giannis for the East, LeBron for the West, and they pick their all-star teams. It's a great idea. They televised it, and they were joking about all the tampering stuff.
With my first pick in the second round, I'm going with Anthony Davis.
You sure you want him to be your teammate?
I'm very sure of that.
Isn't that tampering?
No.
Tampering rules does not apply on All-Star Weekend.
Well, actually, I think the best way to do this is for Giannis to trade everybody on his bench for Anthony Davis. I think that'll be right.
That's hilarious, Charles Barkley. This is part and parcel to the league. Being afraid of player mobility is like being afraid of technology. A, it's not going anywhere, and B, it's a whole lot of fun. Steve Kerr came out after one of his stars, Kevin Durant, was pushing back and all the rumors about where Kevin Durant was going to play, and Steve Kerr, like LeBron, was very level-headed. He said, we're all actors in a soap opera. Understand that's a big part of the revenue stream, the intense interest and passion that fans have. Where, who, why, what team. People, it'd be nice if people just paid attention to pick and roll coverage, but they don't. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. A huge component to their wealth is the speculation. You know, that's why TV people make more than newspaper people. We're called TV shows. And there's TV stars. That's why newspapers have people that cover television. And television doesn't have people that cover newspapers and break down columns. That's the way the game works. TV is a show. The NBA is entertainment. What the Knicks did was pampering, not tampering. There is no reason to be afraid of it. What are we protecting with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans? His great legacy there? God, they were called the Hornets 15 minutes ago. I love how LeBron handled it. I love how Steve Kerr handled it. In an ideal, perfect world, we would deeply care about the minutia of sports. And we don't. One of the reasons I like the NBA, in fact, I prefer it over baseball, is because of the soap operas and of the rumors and of the speculation and of the constant elevation of storylines. It's just more fun. Tip of the cap to Giannis, Barkley, Kerr, and LeBron. That's what this league's all about. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Speaking of a little drama and soap opera, a lot has been made over the last couple weeks about just how the entire Lakers roster being put into trade rumors might affect the team. Magic Johnson doesn't want to hear any of that.
Quit making this about thinking these guys are babies, because that's what you're treating them like. They're professionals. All of them. And this is how this league works. They know it. I know it. All deals are, a lot of them are made in public. We didn't make it in public, but that's part of it. That's what happens, man. We got big boys here.
Did you? I was wondering if you...
They bounce back. They're fine.
You know, Joy, there's also something here. Is that, remember, Lonzo Ball should be a junior in college. So NBA players now are younger than they've ever been. So I do think it's difficult for a 19 and 20-year-old kid playing with LeBron James and reading his name in the paper and the next night being asked to go out and play the Sixers. I think the NBA is a young man's league increasingly. Now, the veterans win the titles, But I think one thing what Magic is missing is in any workforce. Joy, if you and I were in the paper about us being traded to other networks, of course it would affect. This stuff matters.
Right. It's the problem with what Magic said to me is that's fine if that's how the Lakers want to run their organization.
Right.
But we can't hear one peep about loyalty then moving forward. That's off the table. There's no loyalty on either side. There's no culture of being a Laker, because it's not really about being a Laker. It's about winning right now with LeBron James. And if you don't fit in that mold, then you got to go.
And apparently nobody does.
Right. And of course, it doesn't matter if they're big boys or they're grown-ups or who they are. If your name is being circulated as something that is a disposable or indispensable item, like, how are you supposed to feel? And then you're being told, grow up and get over it? Okay, I'll get up and get over it. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do whatever is best for me.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is that you're doing what's best for you. Therefore, I would have to be out of my mind and do anything less than what is best for me.
Yeah.
It's not about us anymore.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is why I think you and I have both always defended player mobility, is that if this is the world I have to live in, and the world is my name is constantly in the paper, when I thought you were all into me, you'd coach me, you drafted me, you mentored me, you built around me, you marketed me, and you're going to ship me off to the worst NBA franchise, well, guess what? It affects me.
I mean, it's not, he's right. It is part of the business. And yes, you don't want to see your name in the paper constantly. And yes, it's bothersome and it's part of the game, but you can't have it both ways.
Right.
So sticking with the Lakers, they were demolished last night by the Sixers. The Sixers built a core four at the trade deadline. They got Tobias Harris to go with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Jimmy Butler. And now people are starting to compare that lineup to the Warriors. And LeBron was quick to shut that down.
No, it's two different teams, two different makeups. Golden State is a well-oiled machine, and they've been that for the last 5 years. They've added KD, and he fit in perfectly to that puzzle piece. This team has been together for a couple years, but they've added, some key pieces to their team just recently. We can't compare, for any team right now to Golden State because they've just been together for so long.
Huh? Who is comparing the Sixers to Golden State?
Nobody.
I mean, somebody is. They asked them about it. This is not a comparison, and that's no disrespect to the Sixers. It's just not even logical. What are you talking about?
Right.
I like the Sixers now. I do think they became much better with the addition of Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's just pump the brakes on the NBA dynasty. Could arguably be definitely is one of the best of all time. And finally, with his brother T.J. Watt experiencing firsthand the locker room drama that involves the Steelers, J.J. Watt knows probably more than any of us ever will. And appearing on Late Night with Seth Meyers, Watt said it does seem very dramatic. It's like somebody that's watching the Kardashians, and I can call one of the Kardashians. I'll call my brother. I see everything on TV, and I'll be like, okay, give me the real story. And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Now, he wasn't the first one to compare the Steelers and the Kardashians. Juju Smith-Schuster said the same thing on January 31st. Said, I think everyone needs to stop being divas. I think we need to stop being Kardashians and just play ball.
Yeah.
I would say, in defense of the Kardashians, they've got it definitely figured out more than the Steelers do. Because whatever formula they've got going is working. And I think there's a method to that madness. Whereas the Steelers, I think, are just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Steelers are the most underachieving team in the NFL. If you look at their overall personnel, they have star players everywhere and could not make the playoffs. And essentially were beaten out by Lamar Jackson.
This particular Steelers season with the stars that they had,
probably the most disappointing.
Truly disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they get it together, and we still don't know what's happening with Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell, for that matter. None of those things are sorted out. So the saga continues.
It does. Joy Taylor with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
This Valentine's Day, ditch the roses and give the gift of comfort. TommyJohn.com, code HERD, TommyJohn.com, loungewear, men and women's, save 20% on your order. A lot of different things this weekend. So I was off Friday, and I was watching a lot of sports. I did think this is interesting. Kyrie Irving got hurt for the Celtics.